All right.
Very cool.
All right,
Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started here in another couple minutes. So happy you guys could be here with us.
Yeah, we're live. We're live on the other platforms too. So what's up, everybody that's watching and that will tune in? What's going on, everybody, with us on Zoom? I'm feeling good today, Benson. I appreciate you having me on here. This is fun.
Yeah, man. I'm excited.
Looks
it's
like
so cool.
Looks like we got some good amount of people tuning in from all over. Wow, all over the United States. That's awesome.
Welcome, everybody.
Lancaster,
Good group
Pennsylvania.
here.
That's right. Los Angeles. Good stuff.
Boise, NYC, Jersey, Florida. Yeah, we got representation from all over the darn country here.
Let's go. We can all do deals together. Let's go.
Right on. Hey, Dev. Welcome, everybody. Boston's in the house. Danny, it's been a while since I've seen you, man. Good to see your name there. Hi, Denise. Welcome, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm super stoked, you guys. Nathan, we'll let him introduce himself here in a moment. Some of you probably already know him. He's been working with me for a while here. And so I'm going to give him a chance to introduce himself and what he does. But he's going to be sharing basically his strategy for adding a system into your business, all the things that you should be doing to kind of stay on track. It's going to be really cool.
Very excited to have everyone on here. Thanks for tuning in. Make it worth your while for sure. I'm an open book and I'm here to help. By the way, people that are tuning in, if you aren't able to hop on the Zoom, but you're watching this live or will watch it, just comment also where you're tuning in from. Let us know. We're definitely interested to connect.
Oh, Terry's motivated. Look at this. How do I make $1 million before the end of the year?
Terry, I'm going to answer your question for you today. That's what we're doing today.
Yeah.
Derek Bailey, what's going on?
So cool. Right on. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome. My name is Benson Juarez. You guys probably know who I am since most of you are Privy users. And this is week 2 of the Find Your Deal Challenge. And it's super exciting. I'm going to show you guys here in a moment, what's been happening with regards to people taking action. We got some people who are already in, kicking butt. They're submitting their deals. They're taking action. I'm going to show you the leaderboard here. And you're just going to be like, what the heck have I been doing? So I want you guys to, if you're not already in the challenge, you need to be. So let me give you the link here to the challenge so you can get signed up. It's totally free. It's just a framework. It's a way for you guys to really just take part in kind of a common goal with everybody else that's in the challenge. We've got something like 400 people who say they're participating. Now, as far as people actually submitting their deals, that's another story. So, if you are taking part in the challenge and you're taking action, make sure you get your deals submitted through the link there in the challenge. Now, I just put the link for you to register. And if you're a Privy user and you register for the challenge, you're going to get a welcome email that's going to take you to our deal challenge resources. So right here, let me just show this to you. I will put this in the chat as well, but this is the Find Your Deal Challenge resources. This really breaks down everything that you need to participate in the entire challenge. And if you're not familiar with it, this is your first time hearing about it, it's a challenge where you get to basically do all the things that you're supposed to be doing in your business anyway, but we're going to give you a little bit more of an incentive by giving you points so you can hit certain milestones and you can win prizes. So at the end of this 30 days, on the 28th is when it ends, we're going to be announcing the winner. And we're going to have a $500 grand prize winner. My friend Ryan Zolan's going to give away one of his agent investor base courses and a free ticket to his live event. We're going to give away several months of free access to Privy, as well as some swag and some gift cards and some other prizes. The link I just put in the chat is the link to register. Again, it's free. There's a link here for the official rules. We're telling you how we're calculating the points. We're going to give you 1 point for every offer you submit, 20 points for every property you get under contract, and 100 points for every closing. And then at the end there, we're going to add all those points up. And then if you actually close a deal, then we're going to have a whole new section for revenue calculation. So if you get we'll say $1,000 assignment fee, well, you're going to have $1,000. If someone else gets a $2,000 assignment fee or a $10,000, then they'll be ahead of you. So we're going to have a whole nother section for revenue calculations as this goes on. The leaderboard, here's the leaderboard right here. Here's the link to it. It's in the spreadsheet. Here's the current standings. So we got Josh Cote is currently in the lead with 62 points. Marcus Dunbar is at 34 points. Antonio and Les are tied at 21. And then we got Sheridan and we got a handful of other people that are just getting started. So my question to you is why isn't your name on this leaderboard? We got a couple people here with 1 point.
Yeah, get some recognition, people. Make 2 offers and you're already on number 8.
Yeah. I mean, submitting offers is like the basics of everything that you should be doing right now. Now, one of the things that Nathan's going to talk about is finding your market. That comes prior to actually submitting offers, but we're already a week into it. So what's holding you back? What's stopping you from taking action? Right? Think about it.
I'll tell you what stops a lot of people, Benson, is they're scared.
Yeah.
And you know what helps fear? You got to confront it. You got to confront that fear. You got to confront the beast, the thing that's stopping you, and you just got to get on the phone. I'll even hop on a phone call today. I'll show you guys that anybody can do it.
That'd be awesome.
I'll call an agent right now.
I'll call an agent right now. Want me to prove it?
Yes.
I'll prove it to you right now.
That's the thing, guys. I know I talked to a lot of you because I work with a lot of new beginners, and they want this. They want it so bad. They want to have the financial freedom. They want to be able to work for themselves, stop working for other people. But it's that phone is real heavy. It's really hard to dial that number. You don't know what to say. But the way you're going to find out is you do it, right? You got to learn. Obviously, Benson's got some great training. What we're doing right now is great training, but you got to take action.
100%. And so Nathan's going to get into his wholesaling blueprint here, and he's going to talk about some ways that you can move your business forward and some ways to kind of stay organized. But first, I would love for Nathan to give a little bit of intro into himself, his business, and tell us, Nathan, about yourself and what's your background, man?
Yeah, if you want, Vincent, if you want to stop sharing just for a second, then I can kind of let the people know. And anybody, if you have any questions about me. So I've been doing wholesaling for about almost 5 years now. I started scared as well. I didn't know anything about real estate. I came from a door-to-door sales background, did not know anything. But what I did is one thing I knew is I knew how to take action. So I started knocking doors, and I got one of my first deals from knocking doors. I knocked on a lady's door. Her grandson answered, who was, he was like a 40-year-old guy. So he wasn't a 40-year-old guy. He wasn't very young, but he answered, he said, yeah, I think my grandma's selling. So then I scheduled an appointment, got her number, scheduled an appointment. After a couple months, we locked up the deal, $18,000 deal just from knocking doors. Right. So it can be done. You just have to take massive imperfect action. I still lose out sometimes. I'm not going to lie. Like the market shift in Utah has really hurt investors that were flipping. So, but it happens. So what am I doing? I'm pivoting, right? And where are distressed sellers right now? They're on market. I know, because I have a couple flips in Utah that I was looking to sell, and they didn't sell for what I needed. So offers, I'm looking for offers. Someone make me an offer. I actually got a seller finance offer today. Someone offered us $50K down on our property. 450 was the asking price, which actually is a good asking price. So I'm open to seller finance deals, and I'm an investor, right? So there's distressed sellers on the market, and I think this is the greatest time ever to do deals on market using Privy, like no, hands down.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent over there, but anyway, yeah, I've been doing it for a while and took action. Now, what I teach people is the painless wholesaling method, which essentially is find your market, find your buyers before you just start making a ton of offers. That's how I do it, because most people, when they're taught how to wholesale, they just say, hey, just pull a list and just call it nonstop until you find someone, and then you'll figure it out. You'll get it low enough and then you can sell it. I think that that's fine. I'm glad anyone's taking action that way, but I teach people, say, hey, pick a market, master that market, understand it, find your buyers, then find them deals. And instead of you having to lock up a property and cancel it, you get negative 30 points in this challenge if you lock up a deal and cancel it. So why not, before locking it up, have a good understanding of what people are buying, what your buyers want, and make it painless instead of painful. So that's kind of what I do and what I teach, Vince, is this the painless way to get a deal.
I love it. So you've been around for a while. You've had lots of success. You've put together your framework on how you did it in the past, right? This is all based off of your experiences. So, everybody, you guys listen to Nate, because there's no reason to recreate the wheel. You just emulate the success of other people and you can get a similar level of success. And, obviously with Privy, we've got all the data that will help you to choose that market, which for Nate's process, that's the very first thing. Like, you choose your target market, then you reverse engineer it. Right? You're not going to go out and just put blind offers out and hope for the best. You really need to just make sure you're researching your target market, find out what buyers are buying at, have conversations with them, and then you can figure out what their buy box is. I was just talking to, not talking about, I was just looking at some of the chat. Somebody was asking about how to determine the final purchase price. I mean, the final purchase price, Joseph, all it has to do, it just has to be lower than what your buyer will buy it at. So if you talk to them and they say, oh, I'll buy it 60% of the ARV, well, then just get something at 50% of the ARV or 55%. And that will work. So then like, if you all you have to know then is the after repair value. So if you know the after repair value and you've targeted a high investor activity area, and that all of these, there's 5 fix and flips that have sold, and they all sold for around 200,000. And if you have to get it at 50% of the ARV, then your offer is 100,000. Right. So Nate, like, let's jump into your strategy real quick, and let me know what you want me to share.
Yeah. Let me give you an example of how I use my strategy, and I just did it because I just did a 30-day challenge to get it, how to get a deal in less than 30 days. And I only took me 18 days to do it using my strategy. I have a deal in Fort Myers that I'm actually, I'm going to buy because I got on terms, right? Using the strategy. This is what I did. I found a hedge fund that is actively buying. I just called a bunch of title companies in this area of Atlanta, and they said, hey, this title company's buying like 10 properties from us. So again, I went to this new area, no buyers, found a buyer. And then I said, what are you buying? And they gave me their criteria. They gave me their buy box criteria: 3 bedrooms, at least 3 bedrooms, over 1 bath, obviously 1,000 square feet. And they want to hit the 1% rule. Right. So now my criteria for looking for properties in that market is very easy to find on Privy. I just have to write, 3 bedrooms plus 1 bathroom plus 1,000 square feet. And in these counties, and they got to hit the 1% rule. So I have to be in an area where I know the rents are around what the 1% of what the purchase price would be. Right. Very simple. And now whenever I find one or I make an offer and I have someone that I'm ready. So that's just like a quick way to let me tell you guys how it works. If you have a buyer, you know what they want, you can find them a deal very quickly using Privy.
So it doesn't mean you have to find something at a deep discount. Like I was talking with Joseph in the chat, and he's talking about 65%. And when you're working with a buyer who's looking to get at a big discount, it could be more difficult to find them deals. But if you're working with a landlord, like a hedge fund or just like a regular landlord, they might buy it at 90% of the ARV as long as it meets the 1% rule.
Exactly. And I have another buyer and he's actually one of my students. He's looking for a flip, but he specifically is willing to pay like 85, 90% for a rental in a specific area. So I'm targeting that area with my marketing, with my offers on Privy, because if I can find something, I don't even have to find that discounted because that's something he really wants, right? So
will you explain the 1% rule to people?
So the 1% rule. So if a house is worth $180,000 and that's your purchase price, the buyer, the hedge fund, wants it to be able to rent for $1,800 a month. Okay, so the 1% rule is just, can I buy a property that will rent for 1%, right, of the purchase price? Does that make sense?
Is it the purchase price? Is it the ARV? Is it a combination, or is it just what you buy it for?
For them, it's like a rule of thumb, right? Like if they can get something at like 180 and then fix it up to and put about 20 in, and it's worth 200,000, but they can rent it for 2,000, then they would say that makes sense. So it doesn't always have to be cut and dry. Like, I got it for 180, it has to rent in its current condition at 1,800. They're saying it just has to be around that mark, and that's why you would submit deals to them and they'd approve it or not, right?
Right.
So,
got it.
And that's one
so
example.
It's like they're all in cash. It's their cash on cash return, almost like their acquisition costs and then their whatever they put into the deal to get it to that point. Okay.
And that's
so you guys get that 1% rule? That's for landlords, right? These aren't flippers. They're looking at, yes, they want to get properties at a discount, but more often than not, landlords want to make their money over time. They don't need to make their money right out of the gates. It's on a month by month basis with a little bit of cash. And in this case, they want to be able to rent it for 2,000, and that would cover their mortgage, any maintenance costs, any sort of deferred maintenance or capital expenditures, and then they would still have some cash flow.
Exactly. Yeah. So every buyer's different. And that's why getting good relationships with buyers is extremely helpful to wholesaling your deals and, making money quickly. So, yeah, if you're ready, Benson, we can hop right in unless, is there anything else you want to cover before we kind of go into what I was going to talk about today?
No, man, I'm ready. I'm excited to hear it personally, man, because I love a systematic approach too.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to see, what you got for us. So let me go ahead and share my screen here.
Yeah. And by the way, I did see someone said the 1% rule is very difficult to find. Let me say this. It depends in what market and what area you are in the United States. In the United States, like in Utah, finding something to hit the 1% rule is not going to happen. The prices are too expensive here. Midwest, 1% is probably, you need better than that. This hedge fund, for example, they want Tampa, Atlanta, Oklahoma City, Orlando. They have specific markets where they want that 1%. And you can only really get that 1% easily, I won't say easily, but you can only really find it in specific counties and areas of those cities. So again, this goes back, and everybody, to knowing your area. If you are trying to hit this 1% rule in California, good luck, right? Because $1 million home doesn't get that much rent, right? It's not going to work. So you have to match.
Yeah, the 1% rule doesn't really work great in high priced areas. Yeah, it really is difficult to hit, but it's a framework. It doesn't mean it's got to be exactly 1%. In some of the markets, it's higher than that.
Exactly.
Your buyer will tell you what they want, right? So you don't have to know what works for your area. They're going to tell you if maybe it's 1.2% in a certain city, right? You just need to talk to your buyer. You can find landlords in Privy. You just use the absentee owner filter, and that will give you all the landlords that are in those areas, even the hedge funds.
Love it. Love it. All right, guys. So let's hop right into what I primarily teach, and that's reverse engineering, right? Instead of just going out and finding a deal and then hoping you can wholesale it or sell it, I teach, hey, let's pick a market. Let's find some buyers. This doesn't take like months and years. This can take you a week to find a couple solid buyers. You don't need to find a million. I have a buyers list of over 1.5 million buyers. Do you guys think that I can reach 1.5 million people? I can't. And I don't want to have that many relationships. I want solid 5 to 10 relationships with my buyers where I can call one of my buyers right now if I wanted to, and he'll pick up because we have a good relationship, and I can say, hey, I have a deal. What would you pay for it? And like that's what you need. You don't need these giant buyers lists right now. you need relationships, and that's what gets property sold. Sometimes you'll have such a good relationship with the buyer, they'll buy a deal that isn't even that good, but they'll do it because they know in the long run they're building a relationship with you and you're going to bring them more deals. So if can you, are you able to zoom in a little bit?
Yeah, where do you want me to zoom in
So
on?
let's go to the 90-day action plan. If you can just zoom in a little bit. All right, so what I primarily talk about in the beginning is mindset, right? So we don't really have to go too deep into mindset at the moment, but week 1 in my 90-day action plan is like getting your mind right, establishing a routine, which we'll get into setting goals and routines in a little bit. But if you want to scroll down onto week 2, this is where we're going to get started, Benson. So picking your market is extremely important, everyone. Let me tell you about the pain, and I call this painless wholesaling, the pain that I had 2 years ago. I went nationwide wholesaling. I said, I heard that the leads were cheaper nationwide. So I said, let's do it. I was focusing just in Utah at that time. And I was like, man, I want to try the whole United States. So I went through the whole United States. And the problem with just going everywhere is it's really hard to master every market. It's hard to develop relationships with agents and relationships with buyers in every market. So I still do it. I learned how to do the skill set, but what I do is I teach people, I say, hey, look, if you're just starting out, pick one. Okay. Because if you try to do everything, it's going to be very difficult. So if you haven't already, Benson, is it cool if we kind of show people how they can pick their market?
Yeah, of course.
So let's go. I use Privy, 100% Privy, to find out what markets you should go to. It gives you all the data you need and tells you exactly where you should go. Now, I recommend you should do your own backyard, or if you're within, your closest major metro, if you can. If you live in the middle of North Dakota or South Dakota or Wyoming, then you can pick any other market. I like Utah. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah, and Atlanta is good too. I just did that. Florida's are hot. I love Florida. But let's just take a look and
yeah,
Benson, kind of take
so
us
right here
through.
at the top, we'll just click this. Sorry, Nate.
Go ahead.
To talk over there. So we'll just click this button right here, fix and flip. So that's going to plot all the investor activity on the map. Because even if you're doing like, say, a 1% rule, as far as like qualifying which markets are good, you still want to be able to get stuff at a discount. And the best way to find properties at a discount is by getting them at a discount from the percentage of ARV, which is why Nate's saying don't target South Dakota, North Dakota, where you have a low investor activity. There's just not enough going on there. And the other thing about investor activity is a rising tide raises all ships. If you have more investor activity in an area, guess what happens? Rents go up.
That's right.
Right? It improves the overall economic condition and the trajectory of a market when there's investor activity. Fix and flips continually push values up. It increases the demand for people to live in that neighborhood, whether people own property or whether there's rentals, and rents go up. You have higher rates of appreciation in high investor activity areas. The municipalities, the cities, the counties, they invest in those neighborhoods. They start paving roads. They start putting in street lights and bus stops. And next thing you know, a Starbucks pops up on the corner. And then there's a Costco that comes up there shortly thereafter. And so these are the indications of economic prosperity. And believe it or not, fix and flip activity is one of those core, like, organic things that helps neighborhoods grow. So that is why we're targeting those areas. Even if it's just, you're thinking, oh, well, if it's 1%, we're only thinking about rent. We're not thinking about margins. It's both. They go hand in hand.
Right. And by the way, again, the 1% rule, that's just one type of buyer, right? There's tons of different type of buyers. There's fix and flip buyers. There's landlords. There's so many. So don't get stuck on that, everybody.
Yeah, it was just an example, but it does hopefully broaden your mind a bit. You don't have to get properties at 40% of the ARV every day for you to be able to wholesale. Just like Nate did. He found this buyer that wanted a property. What percentage of the ARV was it? Even it met their other criteria, but was it like a higher percentage?
Yeah, it wasn't that low. That's why I kind of like them as a buyer, because you don't have to find them at 70% minus repairs minus your wholesale fee.
Awesome. So like right here, you guys, we're seeing these hot markets. So wherever you see the large circles, with the high numbers, those are the areas you want to consider targeting. So you mentioned the Midwest, Nate. Like, is there a market that you like that you think people should consider?
Man, I love Florida. I think Florida,
Florida?
from my experience and from this challenge that we've been doing, Florida seems to be as hot as during the pandemic. Like from the investors that we've talked to, they have not slowed down. Properties are moving quick over there. Atlanta's great too. I really don't think you can go wrong if there's investor activity. Anywhere you go, if there's investor activity, they're still doing deals. They understand that buying real estate, the best time is right now to buy real estate. So they're not stopping.
Oh, and people are moving there in droves too from blue states. So people are getting out of those blue states and coming down here for, the tax savings and, just the economic prosperity, and it's business friendly. Like, we're all entrepreneurs, right? You're gonna have a hard time doing business in states like California and New York and New Jersey. It's just more challenging.
Right. And I saw someone say, isn't Florida saturated? So everybody, when you get into this business and you make 10 calls and you get 10 no's, you're going to think, oh, my area is saturated or it doesn't work here. That's just the business. It's a numbers game, and you have to make plenty of offers, and you're going to beat out me. You're going to beat out me that has experience if you're willing to put in more work than me, right? If you're willing to make more offers. So don't let that mindset of like think it's being saturated or not working. If the data's there, there's deals being done.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned Florida. Any particular market in Florida that you like? I mean, the numbers tell us right around Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa's great. Orlando's great. I think if I was brand new, I'd probably focus on Tampa or Orlando.
Okay. So Tampa, obviously, that flows over into like Clearwater and St. Petersburg. They're kind of like one metro.
Yeah, great.
But look at this. That's a high number, right? So there's 941 deals right in this area. And actually, St. Pete, when I come down here, look at that. Look at those numbers too. So the South St. Petersburg is good. Let's just drill down a little bit here. So when they're choosing a market, Nate, like you're saying, choose a market. What's the next thing there? Are they coming in and they're finding buyers?
Yeah. So the next thing, if you go next to the mind map, after they pick their market, right? And it shouldn't be too much that goes into their market. It's either it's where they live, or it's a place they want to go, right? Like if they live in a remote place and they can't work their own backyard, and then you would start finding buyers, right? But before we start finding buyers, I tell people to kind of reverse engineer their goals, right? Like, what are you trying to, how many deals are you trying to do, right? So let's go down to, so right here, this is just an outline. If you scroll down to where you see the orange, there's mindset. We can go over that. So right there, set revenue goal for the next 90 days. I think if you click on that little clip, paper clip right there, I think it should take you to, no, that's a video. Go down to goal calculator right there. Yeah. So what I do, this calculator is primarily built for off market and how many offers to make on off market with an average of like how much you need to spend per deal, how many offers you need to make. But let me actually, Vincent, if you want to just press view only, if you click on that, and I'll give you access so you can start editing it. Hold on, let me give you access to it really fast. I forgot it was restricted. So right here, this will give you guys a good idea of how I start out, right? You have to start with the end in mind. You have to start out with, what is my goal? How much am I trying to make? How much am I trying to achieve? Because once you start running these numbers, then you can be like, oh, okay, well, this is probably not something I'll be able to do by myself. If I want to achieve this goal, I need a team. Like I saw someone said they want to make $1 million this year. You can do that by yourself if you're just grinding nonstop every day. But most likely for you to make $1 million, in order to hit the numbers and the offers that need to go out that we're about to show you, you're going to need a team involved to create that kind of business, right? And this is going to give you that information. So let me give you access really quick. Vincent, do you have any questions? Sometimes I go kind of fast. So I want to know.
Oh, this is great. So if this is So why would it be different if it's off market versus on market? Are you saying that like we don't have to have as many offers going out if it's doing an on market strategy?
Yeah, so this is you don't really spend money with on market strategy, right? You're making offers, you're building relationships, and a lot of it is you build up your pipeline over time, and you make relationships with agents, and it comes gradually. With this is a lot of marketing spend. It's a lot of having leads managers that are filtering through leads, trying to get sellers on the phone, and then making offers. So it's a little bit. I would say the numbers are a little higher over here, but it's people. This is what a lot of people do. They focus on off market and marketing.
Okay. So how would you like me to edit this, Nate?
So let's go right there where it says year and it's in yellow. So your goal, so 360,000, let's go to 1 million. So again, these numbers this is an average, right? This is average for a nationwide company. But if you go to 1 million, for the year, so that would be making, what would that be making? You'd be making $83,000 a month. So do you see how it kind of splits it up into year, quarterly, monthly? So if you guys go down to the daily, if you want to make $1 million this year, this right here is what you need, according to the numbers, what you need to do. You need 26 leads. You need to be spending around $926 a day. 13 opportunities, 7 appointments. So very possible, right? You can do those things daily, but I would say in order for you to build $1 million company, you would need some acquisitions people. You'd need some leads managers to help you, right?
Right. So this adjusts accordingly. So you got a marketing spend here. So this might be like them sending out mailers or doing pay-per-click advertising, or what do you primarily? I mean, we don't focus much on off market because it is so expensive.
It is expensive,
But you guys, if you're this proves, like with Nate, like he's been there and he's done that. So think about how much money you have to spend on marketing. A lot of you are here because you don't want to spend money on marketing. And what's the point of marketing? It's to bring in leads. Well, with on market, everybody's already said they want to sell. So every one of those properties is a lead that's on the market. Exactly. We just use Privy to zero in on those properties that look like they could be deals based off the comps. So you essentially get rid of this spend. Like, can we edit this and take this to zero? Or will
let's just look at it. Let's kind of not look at it as marketing spend, but let's look at it as leads needed, right? So this is saying on the far left by per deal, this is saying you need 100 leads needed to get 1 deal, right? 100 leads. And then out of those 100 leads, there's 50 opportunities, right? So let's look at that as you need 100 people on the MLS on Privy, let's just say, right? Those are technically, we could call those leads. And then out of those 100, well, the ratio might not be as like 50%, but you would say, okay, out of those 100 offers that you made, well, these would be offers, right? Because you don't really need to, I mean, they're just, you could call the agent, make the offer. Let's just say 50% of them are open to your offer, right? So does that make sense? So you could at least like get rid of the spend and just look at these as offers and opportunities.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing too, you guys, with us, when we find these opportunities for you using the algorithm, that's based off the asking price. So if you can get close to the asking price and maybe, get it a little bit low, it's going to increase the numbers here for the number of people who can be interested in one of your offers.
Right.
Whereas if you're looking for deals in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and you're looking in Billings, Montana, like you're not going to be able to get close to ask price on properties because there's no investor activity. It's the investor activity that makes you making a higher offer possible. That's the whole point of targeting high investor activity areas, as well as being able to find the buyers that will help you and give you an assignment fee. They're going to give you this $3,836 a day.
So you can adjust that. Someone just asked, hey, on the goal, can you change it to 150,000 for the year, which probably be a little bit more realistic for people that are starting out, right? So 150. So if you change it to 150,000.
Yep.
So right there, if you just look at the numbers there, assume those are the same numbers with on market. I'll make one of these calculators for on market, right? I just haven't made one yet. It says that you need to make just one offer a day, which in order to make one offer a day, right, you got to probably be talking to multiple agents, right? You're not going to be able to just call one person to make one offer. It takes a couple, right? But one offer a day, this says if you're consistently doing that for the whole year and putting out those contracts, you're gonna hit your goal, right? According to these numbers. So
right, and that's completely doable. I mean, we were talking with Ryan last week, and he's saying like 5 offers a day. And with Privy finding all these opportunities for you, like one offer a day out, there's a bigger problem.
Yeah,
right.
100%. Benson, I think consistency is the hardest thing for investors, right? Like, let's say, let's give you an example. I just did a $30,000 deal. My motivation after that deal was pretty low, right? I was like, just for a little bit, I was like, I can relax a little bit. And I actually keep track of all my numbers on a piece of paper. Like, I like to write stuff down. I actually, it's sad, but I didn't make a lot of offers after that. And I couldn't hide from the math. So one of the most important things that I'm showing you this calculator, whether this is off market or on market, is the numbers don't lie. If you know you have to make a certain amount of offers, let's just say 5 offers a day on the MLS, and you don't, you're probably not going to reach your goal if your goal is to do a certain amount of deals that requires that, right?
Right. Well, you got to make it up. So if you don't make 5 hours a day, that tomorrow you have to make 10.
Exactly.
Right. And then you're always behind if you don't catch up.
And I think that's where people struggle, Benson, is they maybe get behind a little bit and they're like, I'm already, I already missed out. But yeah, it's numbers don't lie, and you just have to consistently make offers. And again, sorry about not having this. I really need to make an on market one, but I would say that this is pretty accurate. If you're doing what is that, 360? If you do an offer a day, 360 offers, you should be able to get 10 deals out of that.
Oh yeah, easy. 10 deals, and average deal size is 15 grand. I mean, that's how you hit your 150 mark.
Exactly.
So you guys, this is absolutely doable. If you're looking at 150,000 and thinking that's unattainable, like if you do 360, 365 offers, you're going to get 10 deals.
Exactly.
As long as you're not lowballing. But you don't have to lowball if you're targeting high investor activity areas. So targeting the high investor activity areas is going to increase the chances of your offers being accepted, which will allow your numbers to be better. So do not target. Nate was saying, go where you live, but he's saying only look for deals where you live if the investor activity is there. If you don't have high investor activity, then you have to find another market. Please get out of your own way. To this day, people are still telling me, oh, there's no deals in my market. I don't know what to do. Well, get out of your market. Or they're like, well, Privy's not in my market, so I don't know what to do. Like, well, you have to find another market. If you're in a crappy market, go find another one.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, yes, 150 in a year. Like, if you want to speed up how much money you're going to make, you're just going to have to increase the amount of output, right? It's simple math. The reason why you're able to do 150 in a year is because you have 360 days to do it, right? But if you can do the same 360 offers in a month, then look what you're able to accomplish there, right?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, then you're looking at 1.7 million ish, right? Like, yeah. But that's when you need help. That's when you're gonna have to have a staff and a team.
Follow up.
Exactly. The follow up, an excellent CRM, and obviously you'd be doing it full time. Exactly. So be realistic about what you can accomplish with the amount of bandwidth that you have. Right? If you have a full time job and a family, like, be honest with yourself about what you can do without getting into a divorce. Right.
This is 100% doable part-time. If you can definitely make offers part-time, make 1 to 5 offers a day if you do it, strategically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Well, Benson, any questions on this? And what I can do for your group is anyone that's watching, I can make a on-market calculator, and I can give it out you can give it out to people. It'll be like this, but it'll be for on-market.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be great. I'll put it into the into our resource page
Yeah.
once it's ready, and I'll put that there for you guys. Okay. I
Yeah.
don't know when it's going to happen, so you guys just be patient.
Be patient. Yes. Yes.
Nate just got back from a
Miami.
trip,
Yeah.
so
I
he's
just
got
got
a
back.
lot of catching up to do.
Yep. That's
Look at,
right.
look at his golden brown skin.
That's right. Hey, this is not how I'm white. I'm not a white guy. This is I'm just kidding. Just got a real good tan. All right. So this is the ultimate planner to dominate life right there, Benson. If you click on that, it's right below the goal calculator. So my whole life has been, I'll just be a little more open with you guys. If you want to click on, let's actually click on the printable version. Yeah. Click on that. See if it lets you in there. I might have to give you access. Go to the ultimate planner right there. Click on that. All right. Scroll down to where it says 90 days. All right, right here. Yeah, so you can scroll back up a little bit. All right. So
Okay.
the reason why I think you guys, Jess told me to come on, and I mean we're buds too, Benson, but is I like to talk to people a lot about planning, because in my life, if you want to stop sharing, we can go back to this. But I'm going to be open up with everyone here. So I believe in God, right? And I believe that if you ask God for help, he'll make your weaknesses strengths. And one of my weaknesses is very hard for me to focus. Like bad ADHD. It's not like an excuse or anything, but it's been very difficult for me to make a plan and stick to it. So my goal in life has been able to have figure out how to have direction, how to have set a goal and stay on track with it. Because that's one of the hardest things I think with business is there's so many things that sound great. You got sub 2, you got a bunch of people talking about how they're doing great with that. That sounds great. You got a bunch of people that are talking about commercial, right? This is how it's been for me since I started. Everything sounds amazing, And for me, I was like, I needed help with direction and just staying focused to a specific goal. And what I did is for the last couple of years, I've been reading a lot of self-help books, planning books, trying to figure out how I can structure my business. And I built this planner that I actually use in my personal life. And I want to share with everybody here if you want to use it. Not everyone has to use it, but at least use the framework, because this is how I plan out my life and my business. So I actually I know it's kind of weird, but I went to Walmart. It was after the school got out. I bought like a 25-cent binder. It was on sale. And I actually printed out that planner. And I actually do what I'm about to show you guys is I print this out. I have like little tabs, and it breaks down my 90-day goals. So if you guys can see this. So I write down my goals for 90 days. I only pick 3 because you really can only focus on 3 things. You can't really, as much as all of us want, yet you want to do 100 things. You really focus on 3 90-day goals. And at the beginning of every week on Sunday, I plan out my week. So this is called the weekly planner, and we'll show it a little bit better on the screen share. But I plan my week. I set specific KPIs and specific goals of what I'm trying to achieve. I set goals that are related to my 90-day like higher goal. And I say, okay, how am I going to achieve it this week? And then I break it down into daily goals. Okay, so what am I going to do today to achieve my weekly goal, which will help me achieve my 90-day goal? And then you track it just like you would in business, is you track it with your goal tracker, right? Like you track your KPIs and you add them all up. And at the end of your 90 days, you say, hey, did I hit my goal? And if I didn't, why not? What did I do wrong? And that's the reflection I have every 90 days. I say, look, my goal was to get, let's say 100 deals. Why didn't I do that? Well, the numbers don't lie, Nate. You didn't make enough calls. You didn't make enough offers on Privy. So what I'm going to show you guys is I'm going to kind of walk you through a little bit better on that screen share. But I think that's probably one of the most important things people need to do is before jumping in and just being like, I want to make $1 million. We just showed you that to make $1 million, there's specific things you have to do in order to get there, instead of just crossing your fingers and starting to make 5 dials a day, right? So
exactly. Okay, so let me share this again. That's really cool, dude, that you actually print that out and so many people are going digital, right? They got all these apps out there for productivity, and there's probably 100 different productivity apps out there.
Oh
And
gosh,
there's just something about something that you put in your hands,
100%. Like I,
you know?
again, to get personal with you guys, is I went on this vacation to Miami, and my wife was like, you're not working. Let's spend time together. And I realized while I didn't have my phone, how many apps and how many distractions are there that we think help us with our productivity, but just distract us and waste our time. So I actually, after vacation, deleted like everything off my phone, other than like my calendar and like a couple, I think I like 4 apps on my home screen. Let's see. Like
You purge, man.
I purge, man, because it's like one, and they're widgets. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. I have 4 because this thing ringing off the hook will crush you, especially if you're trying to make offers to sellers and you got people calling you and you got text messages and Instagram notifications. You got to get rid of all. That's my opinion, but I'm not here to tell you guys how to run your
Yes, you are. That's what you're here for.
Okay. Well, if I were you guys, tons of distractions. Social media is a distraction. What I've done, and we'll see how it goes, is I said, hey, I will only work from my laptop. I'm going to get rid of all my social media. I'm going to get rid of all this stuff that distracts me. And then I'm going to get on my computer. And that's when I can start doing those things. So if you guys want to try that during the challenge that you're doing with Benson. Get rid of all these distractions and say, what do I really need to do to achieve my goal? And let's do it right here, if you guys want to do it with me. All right, so let's go the 90-day. All right, so I actually wrote out the questions that you'd want to ask yourself as you're planning this. So if you want to zoom in just a tiny bit so I can read it, Benson. So this is your 90-day journey. Now, Benson, how long is this challenge for?
It goes till the 28th of March. So we're into it 6 days.
So what you can do, everyone, is since this is, 28 days, you can still set a 90-day goal, but just know you have that 28 days to achieve, that certain amount of offers you need to make, right? So let's say you want to do 3 deals in 90 days, right? So you would have to reverse engineer, okay, how many do I need to get? And I can get 1 deal every 30 days, right? If you were to do it this way. So right here, for example, if you guys were to use my planning strategy, I would say 90-day goal number 1 would be to, Benson, let's just say 3 deals in 90 days, right?
Okay.
So I will achieve this goal on this specific date 90 days from now. So 90 days from today, that's going to be somewhere in June. Let's just say it's June 6th, right? So let's say I will achieve this goal of 3 deals by June 6th. Okay, you've written it in the sand. You're committed to a date, and you feel good about it. I want to accomplish this goal because, well, is your goal even that good? By asking yourself, why do you want to accomplish that? That would actually help you like have a little bit more. I guess you could say like desire to achieve it. Like, hey, I want to achieve this goal because I need to pay off this debt, or I want to take my family to Disneyland. When the going gets tough and when you're not hitting your goal or you're not close to it, you could say, man, I really wanted this because of this. Okay. And it says, I will accomplish this goal by doing these things. So the great thing about what Benson did on the challenge paperwork is he kind of laid out what you need to do. Right, Benson? Like if you want to pull up the challenge paperwork, you kind of laid out in the point system what people need what actions they need to take, right?
We do, yeah. So let me get back into
Yeah, so as he's pulling it up, he writes out in the point system exactly what you need to do. So let's take a look at it. So participants will earn 1 point for every offer submitted. Okay, so an offer submitted is technically like a KPI, right? Like that's one of the most important KPIs in getting a deal is making an offer, right? So if you're like, if I want to get 3 deals in 90 days, I need to make, I'm just going to say, let's set the bar at 5. Okay. I need to make 5 offers a day to get 1 deal in 30 days. So sorry, 5 offers a day. And that's 30, let's say 30 days in a month. That's 150 offers, right? Let's just say 150 offers to get a deal for you guys. So if you wanted to get 3 deals, what's 3 times 150? What is that? 450. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So 450 offers to get a deal. Does that sound about right?
I think that's, well, I like, we're picking numbers here, and I don't know what the ratios are, but, you know, 150 offers for one deal sounds high to me. Like, I really think you could probably do, excuse me, like one deal, like you could probably get 30 offers out and close one deal.
Benson, I'm so used to off market and how many offers need to go out with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why the off market stuff, you guys, somebody was asking in the thing, like, well, what's your source of off market leads? And I'm like, you guys, we're showing you a better way of doing this.
You're right.
Like, off market is a way more difficult path to closing deals than doing on market. But so many people have just been indoctrinated to believe. He was just showing you, like, you got to spend, $500 and something a day to hit those marks that he was showing you with off market. Like, you guys, it's just so much harder. And Nate's, he's indoctrinated himself. Like, he's thinking you have to get 450 offers in 90 days to close 3 deals.
It's ingrained in me, guys. That's what I've been doing for the longest time. And then, there's a better way for sure. And yeah, my bad.
No, it's not your bad, but this is just, that's what yeah. Right? And that's why, like, I like that you've come over to our side here, and you're like, man, on market, it's way more simple, right? And I can't wait to see your KPIs on this new front of yours, but you've done it the hard way. Right.
It's a lot of work, Ben. So I'm telling you, when you run a team, if you build out this business with a team and you scale it, it almost gets diluted because you're bringing in people that maybe not as good as me or you that you have to manage, and you got virtual assistants. So yes, it takes a lot of effort to scale that out.
So think about that, guys. If you go the off market path, take it from Nathan. He's saying you're going to do 150 offers to get one deal. Do you have the ability to do that? Right. In a month, right? That's 30. What is that? 3 offers a day. Right? Or no?
No, 5.
5 offers a day. That's 5 offers a day. That's a lot of work, you guys. And listen, I know nobody here is scared of the work, but how can we improve your KPIs? Right. And it's by doing these things that we're talking about, reverse engineering it, going to high investor activity, trying to get as close as you can to asking price, and still leave enough margin there for you to get it at a little bit of a discount, fit your assignment fee on there, and get it at a point where it's easier to disposition to your end buyer. And if it's below asking price, it's way easier than that. But it's going to be next to impossible for you to hit your numbers if you're targeting Wichita, Kansas.
Yeah, and guys, I'm sorry if I'm moving a little too fast. I love the question. Someone said, what is KPI? I'm sorry. KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator. There's specific key performance indicators that are required to hit goals. Like offers would be a KPI. Some people could say conversations would be a KPI. Like leads generated would be a KPI. You need specific metrics in order to hit a goal. So, offers is definitely, I would say, the top, Benson, especially on market. If you're not making an offer, how is the agent or someone supposed to accept it? Right? It's as simple as that.
They can't. And then the thing is too, is they're all interrelated. So if you're going off of under contracts, well, you can't get any properties under contract if you don't write offers. Right. So you guys will learn about your business as you go through this. You may think, okay, well, I need to do 5 offers a day to close 1 deal a month. You might get to the end of the month and realize you did 5 deals a day, and then you closed 3 deals. Well, now your KPIs are different.
Right.
Your KPIs will evolve and change based off of the results of you doing the things that you're tracking over that time period.
100%. So let's look at this again. So I will accomplish this goal by doing these things. Making offers. We already looked at what the challenge said. I'd say if you guys know that you have a full-time job, then you would say, okay, I need to wake up either earlier, or I need to use my lunch to make these offers, or I need to, maybe not go out and party on the weekends, right? So there's specific things you need to do, right, to accomplish those goals. Does that make sense?
100%. So that goes into this. I will accomplish these goals by doing these things.
Right.
Right. So it's like you said, if you got a full-time job, you have to figure out how you're going to accomplish these things. Are you going to be like, okay, I get home, I make dinner, I spend time with the family, and then at 9 o'clock, it's business time. And I'm getting all my offers together that I'm going to make the next day. And then you're waking up 2 hours early before work so you can get those offers put together and sent to your agent so that you can make these numbers work. And then you got to carve out the weekends too. Nate's saying, maybe you don't go out and party and sleep until noon. You're up at 7 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday so you can get this stuff done.
Right. So you set aside what you have to do. And I want to give a little caveat, side note, guys. If you are doing this and you don't hit your goal for some reason, I'm just putting this out there. The relationships that you're building, if the agents that you're calling and continuously calling as they get new listings, they're going to remember you. They're going to say, man, this guy keeps on making offers. This guy's legit. Like, he's not going to give up. I'm going to have to work with him eventually. So just know it's a lot of it is building up a pipeline of relationships with agents as well. So don't always feel like, man, I didn't get that deal when I called that agent. You guys need to know that it's not always about the deal you're calling about. You can be about the relationship too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's go to weekly planning starts here.
Okay.
All right. So same thing. We took the 90-day goal and now it's the weekly, right? So let's say it's the first week of the challenge. I know I'm 2 weeks in, but let's say we just starting this right now. So you would say goal number 1 is to do 3 deals in the next 90 days or by June, right? In the specific date. I want to accomplish this goal because I want to be on the top of the leaderboard, right? Let's just say that's what you want on the Privy Challenge. My objective this week is to, let's say, put out the amount of offers that you've set. Okay. And you can reverse engineer that into how many you had to make. As I pursue this objective, the biggest obstacle might be, all right, and we all know that there's going to be an obstacle in our way. What is it going to be? For me, it's always time. It's always time. Time is the biggest obstacle I have because I always think, let me do something that is easy instead of something that's hard. Like, for example, let me respond to that text message, or let me comment on that Instagram post because that's really easy versus let me make an offer, right? We always want to gravitate to the easy things. There's a book called The 4 Disciplines of Execution, and they call it the whirlwind. We all want to do the tasks that seem most important right now. When I was on vacation, all that seemed so important to me. I was like, how am I going to be able to get away from that? I turned my phone off. I didn't look at it for 4 days. My company didn't explode. Nobody died. I'm still here. I came back to work and everything's fine. But the way our minds work is we want just to do the things that are immediate because we think they're important, when in all reality, the most important things are the things that are going to move the needle. And that's what we're talking about right here. Your actions that are going to accomplish your 90-day goal.
I love this.
So
if you're thinking about the obstacles, again, you're thinking ahead, right? So what's going to stop me? And then you can prepare to fix that. Like, if you think that time is an issue, then you're like, okay, if time's going to be an issue for me, that's why I have to get up 2 hours early in the morning so that time isn't an issue. Because it's easier to get up early in the morning, 2 hours, than it is to stay up 2 hours late.
100%. Yeah, exactly. Staying up late you can't really get much done. So, all right. So I will overcome this obstacle by, right? So you identify the obstacle and then you say, I will overcome this obstacle by, and you could say by waking up 2 hours early. You just nailed it, right? Or, not going out on the weekends. I will work on this goal on, and then you can actually put a specific time on your calendar. I use Google Calendar. So I go and say, okay, I'm going to work on making offers from 9 to 10 every day. And that's my slot. That's blocked off. Nothing can get in the way. I'm committed to that time. And then it says, go schedule this on your Google Calendar right now. So then you go ahead and you go schedule it. So Benson, if I shared my screen, you would see my Google Calendar. It's all blocked off. It's all time blocked. Like everything. It's all color coded. It's a little crazy, but I have to, or I will, not be able to get it done. And someone said, is an hour enough? It's just an example, right? You can block off as much time as you want. It doesn't have to just be an hour. Any questions, Benson, as we've taken the 90-day goal to
this
weekly?
Is cool. So talk a little bit more about time blocking, like the importance of it and what it really means.
So let's look at it this way. If our number one goal that we want to accomplish in 90 days is to do 3 deals, that's the top goal. We know that we need to time block it. And if you time block it from 9 to 11 every day, and your friend says, yo, Nate, do you want to go to lunch? Let's go to breakfast at 9 o'clock. You say, well, let me look at my calendar. Oh, it's blocked off, man. I got something. I already planned out my week or my month. I would go by weeks. I already planned out my week. I can't. Let's do it at 12. So that's why time blocking is so important, because if you just fly by the seat of your pants and every day you wake up and you're like, I'm open to whatever, it's not going to be very easy to accomplish your goal. If you're saying yes to everything, you have to say no to things to accomplish bigger things. So that's what I do. Again, for example, I block off every day from 9 to 10 to train my leads managers and to, prepare role play for the day. Cause I believe that training and role playing is the key to improving and getting better at my skill set. Even though I'm good at sales, I need to keep practicing. So I think that's the most important thing that I do in the morning, is just get the rust off daily and get rolling. So that's something I've time blocked every day. All right. So what you do here with the tracking is, at the beginning of the week, you write your habits and actions, right? So if you scroll back up a little bit, there's 3 main goals. So there's a couple boxes that if you have multiple goals, but let's just say that you had the one goal, which is get a deal, get 3 deals in the next 90 days. So you'd scroll down here and you would put your habit, or your action would be offers, right? That's the KPI, the key performance indicator we talked about. So you would put how many offers you need to make Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the goal would be how many you're trying to do. So let's realistically talk about this. Are you planning on working Saturday and Sunday? Most of you probably aren't. I don't work Sundays. So you would say, well, shoot, I actually don't have 30 days to make 150 offers or 30 offers or whatever the number is. I actually just have 5 times 4. I have 20 days, right? So now, being realistic about hitting our goals, we actually it shrunk, right? So you
lost a third of the time, just went away.
Exactly. So this really helps it be realistic. And when I got back from one of these, I went to one of these events 2 years ago, Benson. It was like an all-in event, and for wholesalers, where they get you all pumped up on a weekend, you pay some money, and then they get you all riled up and you're all ready to go. And the guy up there was it's a good friend of mine, but he was like, yeah, you got to set your goals high. So I was like, well, my goal is $4 million this year. So I put up, I bought a poster, a banner, $4 million. I said $4 million by the end of the year, but I had no idea how to accomplish that. I just thought it would happen because I bought a little planner, not about a little planner. I bought a little banner and said 4 million. So this kind of just brings it back to reality. It's like, okay, I want to make 4 million, or I want to make this. Am I going to be able to do that with 5 days and I'm working full time? Right? Let's be realistic and let's actually hit these goals. Okay. So any questions on how to put out the KPIs, Benson?
Well, is it offers is one thing. What's another example? So if we're going to do the number of offers that we say, what's another habit or action that they might have down here?
I would say, let's say calls. Let's say, because not every agent you're going to call isn't going to answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say the amount of calls you need to make. I know for me, my goal is 50 a day. I need to make 50 calls a day. And I know that, unfortunately, not everyone answers all those calls. So my connect rate is probably, I'd have to check, but it's maybe 50%. And obviously you're texting and emailing people as well, but calls would be another one.
Another goal then, I think here, you guys, as we're talking about offers, another goal could be, to build your buyers list. Like you want, 10 solid buyers on your buyers list, right? Yeah, you want those in multiple in place before you start, but it's going to continue to grow. So I think another good goal is to continually grow your buyers list. And then down here into the actions is there's offers, but then there's calls to buyers. That would be another good one that go into your daily actions.
Yeah, it really, there's so many cool things you can do. Like, for example, I think social media is a huge way to get deals and like build your brand. So you could say, okay, um, like if your goal is to get a certain amount of followers on a Facebook group you built or on your own following, you could say post deals that I have under contract, or post that I'm looking for deals like 3 times a week, right? So that could be a goal, like make a social media post about real estate investing 3 times a week, and your goal will be 3,
Mm-hmm.
and you could do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. There's a lot of different things you can do, but really whatever you're trying to accomplish, you just got to break it down into actions.
Love it.
Okay. All right. Hopefully I'm not boring anyone. This is something I'm really passionate about and I love to do.
The group's been really like consistent here, you guys. And I think for a lot of people that they've never seen anything like this before. So you guys, this is what the killers out there do. This is what the operators do. This is the people that are making all kinds of money. They're not just flying by the seat of their pants. So talk about emulating success of others. To people that are making the kind of money that you want to make, plan out every detail of their business.
Yeah, bro. You can't see Benson. The reason why I have to do this is because I run a wholesaling company. I run Investor Thrive, was a coaching company, and I know I couldn't be able. And I know there's people who run thousands of companies, but for me, two is enough. And you really got to be locked in, right? You got to have the right people, and you have to have the right plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, this last part is what you come back to at the end of the week when your week is done, and you review self-reflection. You reflect on how you did, because if you don't hold yourself accountable, no one will, especially if you're the business owner operator, right? Like if you all have jobs, you have a boss that holds you accountable. The hardest thing that I had to learn as an entrepreneur when I first started is no one's really going to hold me accountable. So if I don't make those calls, no one's really going to, my wife might be upset at me, but she's not looking at my KPIs. So you have to reflect on how you did at the end of the week and say, dang, Nate, my goal was, this amount of calls, this amount of offers, or get this many buyers. I did half of that. I'm not proud of that. What am I going to do to improve? So let's look at this. So it says, how did I get closer to accomplishing my goals this week? You could say, wow, I have 1 under contract. Okay, that's great. That's closer to accomplishing my goals. I have 5 new buyers. What did I learn from this week that will help me get closer to accomplishing my goals next week? You could say, I learned that an hour in the morning is not enough time to get my offers out. I need to increase it, right? So you're reflecting on what you did. On a scale 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, what would I rate this week? You could say, well, shoot, I rated a 4. I know I could do better. And that's why, well, I know I could do better, right? And then this week I was able to, take care of my body. Yes, those questions are pretty self-explanatory. I like to read. I struggle with reading, but I know how important it is. So this part says, last week I read blank. This week I'm going to read this. And it goes back. The last part says, did I achieve the number 1 most important goal last week? Okay. And if you scroll up just a little bit on the, the other way. Keep going to the next page. At the very bottom of that page right there, Vincent, it says the number 1 most important thing I can do to move my goal forward this week is, I know we talked about 3, but sometimes you even just got to narrow it down to 1. So this is just the one thing. If you stink at everything else, what's that one thing you can do? And let's say, again, let's just bring it down to offers. Let's say, no matter what, I got to do this many offers. So then you scroll down, and then at the end of that week, you're accountable to that one thing, at least, like on top of everything else. So scroll down the very bottom of this page. You'd say, did I achieve the number 1 most important thing last week? Yes or no. And if a yes, reward yourself, take yourself out to some ice cream, go get some sushi. If not, what is your excuse? Why are you saying you can't do that? Right?
Do you have a difference in your mind, the difference between excuse and reason? Because excuse is like, you can convince yourself of anything. Oh, well, I was busy doing this, and the plumbing went out and I couldn't get my offers out, or my ex, wouldn't pick the kids up at school. So I mean, what really goes in here?
I put excuse because I was going to put why not? but I said, what is your excuse? Because I believe that if you have one thing you have to do, just one, there's no excuse. So there is always going to be excuse if you didn't accomplish it. Does that make sense? Like there's no reason you shouldn't be able to do what you committed to at the beginning of the week. You committed 7 days ago to do something. Well, how come it didn't happen? And you need to be honest with yourself on what it was. What was the real reason?
Yeah.
Are you lazy? Yeah. So there you go. All right. So then this part, super simple. I don't really even use it when I write it out. Just if you want to plan really quick, I put mine on Google Calendar, but if you want paper, so you can scroll. Here's a brain dump. It's just like write down all your thoughts. I got a lot going on my mind. Just write everything out, get it out of your head. And I feel like I'm boring people, but anyway, let's just go to the last part of this is your daily disciplines. This is the day. We went from the 90. Now we're at the weekly. Now we're at the day. This is it. Okay. And then we'll wrap it up. So go up to top, just that page right there. Okay. So I start off my day. I know this is crazy. I start off my day and I say, okay, Nate, how many hours did you sleep? What time did you wake up? What's the friend I'm going to serve this week? Because I try to serve one friend by calling them, connecting. I always start the day off with some water. I pray because I love God. And I say, what book am I reading this week? Business Made Simple. Great. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for my dog. And I write it. I read. Then I repeat my affirmations. I have an app that just, it's really simple. I'll show it to you guys if you can see my screen. It's called Think Up. It's one of the ones I didn't delete. All you do is you click it and you pre-record yourself saying like affirmations. It's free. And then this thing it plays music while it's going. I have integrity and don't speak about others who are present. So anyway, those are just some affirmations. I've been listening to them. They make me feel like I can conquer the world. So it's working. Exercise, love to exercise in the morning. I have a gratitude journal that I write everything I'm grateful for in the morning. Then I plan out my life. Well, actually I review my life plan, my short-term plan. I plan out the day, which we're about to get into. And I even track how long this takes me. Cause sometimes I'll be doing this and it will take me like 30 minutes. It will take me like an hour just because I get sidetracked. So I really hold myself accountable to how long this takes me because I don't want to be doing this for 3 hours. I'm like, let's just knock this out. Let's plan the day and let's get going. So now goal 1, goal 2, goal 3, it's super simple. You write it down again. My goal is to get 3 deals in 90 days. What's the weekly objective? Well, it was to make this many offers. And what's the minimum? I always forget what this one is. Minimum, maximum next step. I can't remember, but it's just the next thing you need to do in order to accomplish this. So for example, if you don't have let's say you want to get a dialer going on, like that would be maybe your next thing. You'd be like, hey, let me get a dialer set up so I can put some agents in there and call them easier. Right. I don't think anyone needs a dialer, but that's like an example of like another step that would enable you to make those offers. Or let's give an example of you don't have privy yet, right? Get privy. That would be the next step, right, to achieving that goal because you don't have it. It gets really granular, but it helps you out. Then you got your secondary tasks on the right, which is all the crap that will distract you, like pay the water bill. That might actually not be a secondary task. You might need to get that done, but just things that are not as important to hitting your goal, but need to be done. Maybe returning the Amazon box, whatever. Okay. I can consider this day a win today if I get privy, right? Start making offers on privy. So then you go to the next page. Sorry, guys. Okay. Here it is. Time block. Just like we talked about, you actually can write out exactly what you're doing. I write this out every day. And the rest is pretty self-explanatory. I don't want to go over, I'll beat you guys over the head with this. Self-reflection at the end of the day. And then let's move on from there. Some self-reflection. Jessica's saying no. let me get some, let me gauge the audience. Cause again, I'm not trying to just go over all this and then have you guys fall asleep. What are you guys thinking? I'm just curious. Cause again, this is boring to talk about sometimes, but this is really what I believe it takes to achieve this stuff, is to hold yourself accountable and make sure you're going through these steps.
We're giving them this, Nate? Is that right?
Of course. Why would I couldn't show this to them and not give it up?
Well, people are like taking screenshots and all this stuff.
No. This is. Hey, thank Benson for bringing me on here. I was that I'm able to give this out to you guys. This is my gift to you. And
people are loving this, man. Like people are saying like they needed this, right? Like for some of us, like we get so overwhelmed with all the stuff we got to do that we don't even know where to start. I'm like that too a lot. Like I need to do something like this in my business because there's just so many darn balls in the air. And just being able to like get some of this out of my head onto a piece of paper. I just ordered one of those Remarkables.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm super stoked for that thing to come in, man. Like I'm going to be like all up in the Remarkable. But it's about getting stuff out of your head and down, like on a piece of paper or someplace where you can see.
Again, that's why I had to do this, because I used to use a project management tool I actually still use it. It's called Asana. You probably heard of Asana or ClickUp, these project management tools. That thing was just full. And the thing with those apps is you can just write down as much as you can think of. And all of a sudden these apps are just full of all these ideas. And you're like, man, it's really hard to stay on track. The thing with paper is you can only write so much stuff down before you don't have any more room. So at least it stops you that way. That's what I like. So, Bez, I'm seeing some people that are saying they like it. I guess I should finish up with at least the day. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, let's finish up the day here, and then maybe we can open up some. There might be questions about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So, let's go back here.
So time block is extremely important. So let's go through. So today, for example, I wake up really early. No one has to do this, but I've been waking up. I wake up at 4:30 every morning. I know it's crazy. Nobody has to do that, but I like to wake up early and I go to jujitsu. I like to work out, and at 5:30. So I wake up a little early and I go to bed really early. My wife's like, she's like, why are you going to bed so early? I'm like, babe, I wake up early. I go to bed like 9:30. I'm 31, about to be 32. No kids yet. It's just me and my wife. I'm boring. I'm a boring person. I work, I hang on my wife, and I go to sleep. You know, that's all. That's my life, and I love it. That's what I like to do.
You just gotta be like, babe, you want me to hit my KPIs or not?
I'm trying to. And by the way, you already know that one of those, out of those 3 goals, you already know my wife is working on a relationship is one of my goals, because I can't neglect her. And that's taken some time as an entrepreneur too, to not, anyway. So as I wake up, I write like, okay, so 4:30 to 5:30, for example, would be plan. 5:30 to 6:30 would be jujitsu. Come back 6:30, shower. 7, eat breakfast. 7:30, drive to work. 8, start working. Maybe go over some of the specific tasks I want to do. 9, let's say 9 to 10 is the block where I commit that time. Nobody can stop me. I make offers. Let's just say 9 to 11, right? So now you guys can see at the very beginning of my day as I'm planning, it's not a question of what I need to do today. It's not a question of when I'm going to do it. It's already planned. So when it's 12 o'clock and I'm hungry and my friend is calling me and asking me to go to lunch, it's not, okay, you go out to lunch with him. It's been 2.5 hours later, 3 hours later. Instead, you thought that was going to be a 30-minute lunch or an hour lunch. You guys just were cutting up, having a great time, catching up about old times. That's how most days will get lost to you. You'll say yes to something that you think won't have a big impact, and you won't plan out your days. And then at the end of the day, you're like, dang, I only made 1 offer, or I didn't make any offers. And I think that's what's probably impacting a lot of people, not only in this challenge, but in general, is they just think they have more time than they do. And
right.
And they don't.
Well, people are getting in their own heads too, right? So like when they don't make their goals, then, and I do this and some people do this too, is like they prove themselves right. Like they didn't have what it took to meet their goals anyway. So it's like, why do you even try? So some people are thinking, oh, well, see, I knew I couldn't hit my goal. So what's the point of all this anyway?
Exactly. And that's been my biggest issue when I first started. It was, you know, I would set these high goals and I'd think I could do it. In my mind I can do anything. So for example, when I started knocking doors, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to knock 100 doors, right? To get a deal. In reality, it takes maybe an hour to knock maybe 20, 25, 30 doors and actually talk to someone. So do I want to knock for 8 hours a day? I wasn't able to do that. I was only, I was only able to consistently do like an hour or two. So it really just shows you what can be done. And when you plan stuff out. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did I include enough breaks? That's the next question. You can circle. Yes, I did create enough breaks because you don't want to be balls to the wall all day. You'll burn yourself out. And did I schedule my number one most important thing? Again, we're always going back to what is the most important thing I need to do? Narrow it down and get it done. If this were the second time I got to live this day, what would I do differently? Again, it's self-reflection. What do I get to look forward to today? And this is really important. You don't want your life to just be about work, 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 work all the time, because then, it's not fun. So I always, at the end of my planning, I always say, what am I looking forward to today? Oh, cool. Well, I'm going on that webinar with Benson. I freaking love Benson. I think he's awesome. That's something I'm really excited for. So as you write things that you're excited for, it actually gives you, excitement for your day, and that there's things to look forward to. Like, I'm going out to eat with my friends, like after work, it's going to be great. And as we know, as I talked about self-reflection, you review your day and you say, okay, how did I do today, Nate? Who did I network with? And you can check these off. These are boxes that I actually personally check off. You ask yourself, like, what will I do to improve if I didn't hit my goal? Okay. And then you give yourself a little scorecard, 1 out of 5. How did you do on all these clarity, energy, and all these things? And everyone might be reading this and being like, man, that must take a lot of time. It takes me 30 minutes in the morning to do my routine. And then at night, actually, I don't even do this at night. I do it the next morning when I plan again. It takes me 5 minutes to review my previous day. So it doesn't take that much time, but it saves you a ton of time because you have direction in your life and you know where you're going.
Yeah, this is like a momentum thing too, you guys. Like the very first time you do this, it's going to be like a struggle to like get through it. But then like this is the way I view it in my mind. Then like the next time it'll be a little bit easier, and you'll know what the questions are, and you won't have to think as hard about it. And you're going to know what your goals are. And so like by the time you finish this after a few days, you're going to be in the rhythm of doing it, and it's not going to be as much of a challenge mentally to get through it. And it's going to start knocking it out, and you'll be focusing on the goals, and not like, oh, I got to finish this darn paperwork, right? It's like what's the whole point? The whole point of this is to make sure you're hitting your goals, and then be able to reflect on what you've done to see what worked and what didn't work.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's kind of Benson, I really like documenting things. Like I'm a big journal guy. So this is just a giant journal too of your life and your experience. Can you imagine like 10 years from now where I'm going to be, or where you be, or any of these people in this call are going to be? If they do this, they're going to be able to look back at their journal or their planner from 2023. And they're going to be like, dang, look where I'm at right now. Can you believe that's where I got my start? And I have everything that I did to get here. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
All right. So then last thing, obviously, I've said that a lot, but monthly goal is just you take the numbers from your each month and then you put them in. You're just adding up each week and you're putting it in there to see if you're going to achieve your goal in the 90 days. And guys, I've done this for a couple like 90-day cycles, and there's some goals that I hit, there's some goals that I don't. And it feels good either way, because at least I know what's the next step, right? What's the next plan of action? I've done this business for 4 years, and without planning and having this in line, sometimes at the end of the quarter or at the end of 90 days, I would be like, let's keep cold calling.
Right.
Let's keep texting. I don't know what's working. But I'm going to keep paying $1,000 a day in pay-per-click spend. And immediately when you take control of your life and your vision and the numbers and what you're doing, you're going to stop wasting time, wasting money. I'll tell you guys, I made $1 million last year in wholesaling, doing all these fees. But my business, because I was not running very profitably, and there's a lot of excuses. But if you want to be more profitable, you have to also plan out your marketing. You want to do well. So making a ton of money, that's great. You guys might be like $1 million. That's great. I personally, I'm like, whatever, because I didn't get to keep as much as I'd like. I had a lot of overhead, a lot of expenses. The market shifted. So I'm good. I'm making money. But if I would have been a little bit more diligent about doing stuff like this and keeping track, I probably would have been able to keep a lot more of that,
Oh yeah. Well, that's all part of it. That's the goal for the next month, right? You look at your overhead and you're like, goal number 2 is to lower your overhead, right?
Yeah.
Spend less money, be more effective, more efficient.
Yes. And that's honestly, Benson, that's why I love working with you, because this is your strategy, Privy, working with agents. This is the key to lowering the overhead. This is the key to doing deals efficiently and effectively. If you can master market and have good relationships with buyers and make offers consistently on market, this is the most efficient and profitable way to do deals.
Right. I believe that too. And I would say that, and I'm biased, but this is why I love having someone like you on here, Nate, because you've done it the other way, right? You're like, yeah, I generated this much in revenue, but I didn't get to keep as much of it because I was spending so much money and time, and I had to hire a team and scale. Like you said, you had to hire people that weren't as good as you, because to hit your numbers, you had to bring in other people.
Yeah.
All right. And they don't have what you can do. So this is amazing, man. What else is on here that you wanted to cover?
There's one last there. Well, okay. I keep saying that because I don't want to keep on stringing you guys along. I think there's two sections left: short-term and long-term goals. I plan out my short-term goals, which are like, okay, what am I trying to accomplish this year, right? Like, this is a little bit longer. And then you have life goals, which is, if you go scroll down a little bit. So that's short-term. So you're not trying to do like it all. Like, for example, a short-term goal of mine, Benson, would be if you go down just a little bit under self-development. So scroll up a little bit. Sorry, it's at the last box. So self-development. Sorry, scroll. It's at the last box of this one.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So self-development. One of my self-development goals, which is a short-term goal, is to read an hour a day, right? That's something I'm trying to do. I'm trying to incorporate that. Health would be, I'm trying to win a jujitsu tournament. I just started doing jujitsu like a year ago, and I'm trying to win a tournament, right? So those are short-term goals. That's not like a life or a like forever goal. That's just things I'm trying to accomplish. So little things here. And then if you scroll down to the next page, which is life goal, life plan. What are you really trying to achieve? And this is the funny thing, guys. If you really look at what you're trying to achieve in life, maybe making $1 million doesn't even correlate, isn't even necessary to accomplish your life plan. Like I went on a podcast with someone, and he was telling me, he was like, man, I want to own hotels and I want to like make so much money. And for me, I don't want a hotel. I don't want a lot of people talk about, I want 1,000 doors. I don't want 1,000 doors. I'm cool with, I don't need life. Is very simple. I want, my wife is Canadian. So we just want, a cottage in Canada and a home and have everything paid off, and we're good. I don't need a hotel. So do I need to be doing thousands and thousands of transactions or own a hotel to achieve my life plan? No, I don't. So
plus, dude, you spend almost all your money at Costco. Like, just those deals that you're getting. Like,
I love,
man. I mean, yeah, they don't have hotels at Costco, I don't think.
No, man. So that's exactly right. Like, my life and the way I was raised, like I was raised in middle class, frugal. Like, I love deals. I don't know what it is. If I can find a great deal.
I'm the same way, man. That's our parents.
It's our parents. And I'm okay with that. Like, I don't need a mansion in Miami to feel accomplished. So if you guys can set your life goal out and be like, look, I'm just trying to provide financial freedom for my family. I don't need like a Ferrari or to flex on everyone to feel accomplished or good about myself. Not saying that those people have Ferraris do that, but that's why the life plan is here. Actually figure out what you're trying to achieve. So for example, on family, under family, mine is own a cottage in Canada where we can live there in the summers, and then live in Arizona or Utah during the school year, so we can bounce back and forth, be with her family in the summer, be here in the United States during the other. That's good. That's a good life for me, and have those paid off. We're good, and I could probably achieve that in the next couple of years. So nothing too crazy here. All right, yearly goal letter. Swear this is it. You write yourself a goal. You write yourself a letter 1 year in advance saying what you already accomplished. So if you scroll down to the next page, so this is how this would look like. Say, let me actually get an example because I actually wrote mine out. So this would be, okay, this is an example of how this would work. This year has been amazing, and I can't believe what I have accomplished. My business has taken off, and I've, because Benson has helped me grow. Benson's Privy is the best. So that's an example. You're just writing yourself saying what you accomplished and as if it already happened. And then, what's really crazy is like a lot of these things happen. Like last year, I wanted a window office. So at the beginning of that year, I was like, I will have an office with a window that oversees blank. And I did. At the end of that year, when I read my goal, I was like, shoot, I already got that. That's amazing. And it goes from business, and you scroll down, it goes over pretty much every aspect we talked about. Family, my goal would be and I know a lot of these things you can't really control. Like I actually wrote, which is crazy. I'll be personal because it's all good. We've been trying to have a baby with me and my wife, and I wrote in October that last October, I wrote for this year in advance. I said, I'm going to have a baby by the end of October, or I already had a baby. I'm really excited. And we're having a baby in August. And she let me know like a month or two ago. So I wrote that before it even happened. Now the chances right? Like, was that going to happen? But I at least in my mind, I wanted it to happen. I wrote it out as if it happened, and it is happening. So that's the power of vision, self-belief, like affirmations, talking it out loud is a lot of the things you want, you can accomplish if you believe it and you put it out there into the universe.
Yep.
The secret, right?
Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, that's the secret, right? That's the reverberation of the universe, right? Putting it out there. So you guys read this right here. This will put it in more context.
Right. I could have just read that.
You're writing it as if it's already happened. Right. And part of that is not some like squirrely stuff, but your subconscious is way more powerful than you think it is. And if you are putting this stuff out there, you're telling yourself that it's going to happen. And when you're like struggling in your brain and you're struggling emotionally, like your subconscious is working behind the scenes to help you guys do this. Your subconscious is your biggest fan.
It is.
But it can work against you too.
It is, yeah. People that are negative, that say they can't. Like if you speak those words out loud, subconsciously, like it's going to affect you, right? So you have to speak positively out loud, and that's why doing these exercises I've showed you, which has taken us, an hour and a half for me to talk about, will change your life because you're putting this out there into existence that you're going to achieve what you want, and it will work. I promise.
Oh yeah, and I've been hearing some people too, when we were talking about goals and what's holding us back, there's a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, I beat myself up every single day. And when I don't accomplish things, I get on myself. Like, you guys, that's working against you. So please, please, please be kind to yourself. This is all hard stuff, right? Part of this challenge is to help you be around other people, like everybody that's in the chat right here. And I just talked to my friend Vincent Lanza. We're going to be having a networking session here in a couple of weeks. We'll be sure to announce that. Squat up with people that are in the chat, exchange information, go in the Facebook group and share your info and look for people who are having challenges like you. Like, you're not in this by yourself. Like, the whole part of this whole challenge and bringing everybody together is to know that you're not in this alone and that we're all here to support each other.
100%. This is amazing that this many people are on, Benson, and that will watch this. It's like we're all in this together. There's not one person that you won't be able to reach out to that won't at least give you a little bit of advice or be able to try and help you out. So right now, I just want to say the opportunity to get deals is absolutely amazing. The market right now, it's not everything is flying off the shelves like it was. Sellers, as myself included, because I have properties I'm selling, we're motivated. We want to sell our properties if they're not moving. We're open to different strategies. We're open to seller finance. When I make offers to sellers, I start with and even agents, you start with a cash offer. Always start low. If they're willing to accept your low cash wholesale offer, go ahead. You have instant equity. If they don't just say, okay, all right, I'll follow up with you. Never do that. You say, okay, well, hey, look, I might be able to get a little closer to what you're asking. Are you open to these options? And then you give them options. You can still do creative deals with on market properties as long as you pay attention to the agent. They're good. They'll pitch, or you can even talk to this. Well, I don't know if you can talk to the seller always, but yeah, there's
Not
a lot
usually.
of different. Yeah, there's a lot of different options. So don't just think if you make one offer, whether it's on market, off market, it's over. You can be strategic and yeah, you can get a lot done right now.
Oh yeah, it's a back and forth. People are asking about this calculator, guys. We don't have the on-market calculator yet. So Nate's going to create this thing.
Yeah, I'll have to make it for you guys.
He has to go in and build it. So there isn't an on-market calculator yet. Okay, but we will send that out, and we'll actually I'll make sure to announce it in the group. So make sure you're in the Facebook group and make sure you're on. You subscribe to the challenge, and that'll get you on the distro list. And then we'll also put it into the resources page. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Thanks for following up on that, Eric. I know other people had that same question.
So Benson, we can open this up to questions. I love this stuff. I hope you guys can feel it, because I believe in this more than anything, that you need to be able to plan out if you're trying to achieve anything. But again, I sometimes feel like I drag on. So sorry, anybody, if you felt like it was an overload. It can be.
It's deep, man. Like you could have glossed over it and it wouldn't have been as valuable, Nathan. Like I think it hit everybody that was supposed to hear this, heard it. And people were looking for this sort of thing. So
yeah,
I appreciate you digging in. And then honestly, also too, like being real and just like talking about what you're going through. Like you guys, he doesn't just put this stuff out there for the sake of doing it. You saw his notebook. He had it all filled out. He's practicing what he's preaching.
That's right. I got it. I got my year letter. I got my days. Come on, I'm not playing. Well, this one's actually, that looks bad, but that's just because I print off more. But yeah, look at that. I write it out.
Look at that, you guys. He's taking action, right? This is from a guy who did $1 million in revenue last year. Do you want to hit $1 million in revenue? Well, Nate this is what he's doing to get there.
Yeah, and you all can do it. I started off in this business with zero knowledge. I had no idea what I was doing, Ben. Like I was knocking doors. I was like, hey, you selling your house? So anybody can do this 100%. You just have to, and I wish I had this when I first started, because the first year I was flying like a feather in the wind. I had no idea what I was doing. Probably with like a lot of you guys, you're like, I don't know, let me make some calls.
Absolutely. And then they feel like they did something, but you guys, that's the shotgun approach. You're just shooting and praying and hoping. Like the way you get your goals is by doing exactly what Nathan just showed you.
Right. And not everybody has to use this. I would just say, look, pick one thing, say, what are you trying to achieve? Let's just say 90 days, and just reverse it back. Right. And you can make it and Benson, you've pretty much done that for people in this challenge, right? Like you made it pretty easy. Say, okay, let's get one deal. These are the points. These are the offers. And you did it in bullet point format, which is great, but you did it, right? You showed them what they needed.
Well, the only thing we didn't do was the setting, right? So, you guys have to really be honest with yourself about what you think you can accomplish in this time period. And this isn't going to be the only challenge, right? So this is going to overflow. So if you use this and you go to 90-day challenge, you can still take this past when this phase of this challenge ends, right? You guys, the world isn't going to stop when the challenge ends. It's just one milestone. And then we're going to do another challenge and another challenge. So, use this 90-day challenge framework to the best of your ability, or something else. Like Nate said, it doesn't have to be this. This is how he put it down there. I think you should, because I liked all the little side things, Nathan, because a lot of times these goal setting things are just 100% about making money.
Yeah.
You're like, no, money is just one part of this overall goal that you want for yourself. You had stuff in there for like taking care of yourself and your family time, health and reading and education. And it's like being a well-rounded individual comes with multiple kinds of goals, not just how much money you want to make.
Agree 100%. I think money is the way I grew up. If I'm already good, right? Like compared to how I grew up. So like money for me it's great, but I care more about relationships and lifestyle, like a good lifestyle. So if you want that, then you have to be well-rounded, right? Money's not going to get you that. Who cares if you have $1 million if you can't walk when you're 67 years old because you didn't take care of your health, and no one will help you out because you're mean to everybody, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. So you guys, so last chance here to ask questions of Nate. But I also want to ask you, if you would, we're going to be making announcements about the challenge. We're going to be, doing tips and tricks on my socials. So make sure you go and follow me on my socials here so that you can get updates and tips and tricks. And then as we get even closer to the end of the challenge there, I'll be putting out some special content about that. So make sure you follow us there. Okay. Bob is asking, please talk about not discussing rehab costs in these trainings. Bob, if a buyer tells you that they'll buy at 60%, all you have to do is get something at 59%, and that's a deal. Because their costs go on top of what they buy it for. If they buy something, if you look at Privy and it shows that they bought it at 50% of the ARV, let's say that they flipped it for 300 grand, they bought it at 50% of the ARV, that means they got it for 150 grand. Their costs are on top of that 150. So if they spent $100,000 on the rehab, then they were in for 250,000, and the rest of it's a profit. You do not have to worry about cost. They worry about the cost when you're doing wholesale.
Yeah, that's the quick approach. I like that.
They calculate their own costs, Bob. But they need to calculate costs. Yeah, they will. But if they tell you 60%, the 60% they're telling you is the gross. They're factoring their costs when they tell you 60%. And when you look at Privy and you see that they bought it at 60%, that whatever they spent to do that project was on top of what they bought it for. You only have to go in and calculate costs if you don't know what your buyers are willing to buy. If you know your buyers are willing to buy at a certain percentage of ARV, and that's for a standard remodel, then all you have to do is get it lower than that. Can it be more complicated than that? It can. But the whole point of this is to keep it simple and just have those discussions with your buyers. Your buyers will tell you. Like with Nate, with those hedge funds, they told you bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, the counties they wanted to be in, and they wanted it to be 1%. Right?
Yeah.
And then you took that and you went and found it.
Yeah, I don't really worry too much with them about the rehab budget because I'm going to give them the information they need to make an offer, right? But I can get it at a price that I know will work.
Yeah, and then Bob, if you want to calculate rehab, then it just figure out what the rule of thumb is. If it's $30 or $40 a square foot, then just multiply that times the square footage of the house, and now you got costs. It's actually, that part's very simple.
Benson,
cool.
Is it cool if I drop, if people want to learn more about what I do as well? Is it okay if I drop my site?
100%. Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah, guys. If you've liked what I've talked about and you want to learn more, I guess go to investorthrive.com. I have a lot of resources on there. It's just investorthrive.com. as you can see from the sign. That's it. I'd love to connect with anybody if they want to learn more. I do use Privy, so you guys, if you're going to ask me how I get deals and find leads, Privy is one of the key, ways that we make offers and we get deals and, find buyers as well. So, but yeah, investorsthrive.com. I appreciate you having
and then
me on
also
here.
too, Nate, you do a live demo every Friday.
Yeah. So Thursday, actually, if you go to my website, I have a free masterclass that I'm doing on Thursday at 4:00 Mountain Standard Time, 6:00 Eastern Standard Time, that everybody is welcome to coming on and checking out. I'll kind of dive a little bit deeper into how to find deals and like how to find leads and
Oh,
go over
cool.
stuff like
I was
that.
talking about the Privy one we do on Fridays.
Oh, sorry about that. Friday. Yes, Friday it's finding it's deal finding Friday every Friday on Privy YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at 10 Mountain Standard Time and then 12 Eastern Standard Time. And I'd love for anyone to hop on there because we make calls and talk to actual agents. So if you want to see this in action and not just the theory, I'm sure you have a bunch of videos on calling agents, but that's what I like to do is like, hey, let's actually get on the phone. Let's have you guys actually see me talk and see if I'm actually know what I'm talking about. Because I think there's a lot of people on the internet these days. So people are skeptical of like, hey, do they even know what they're talking about? So yeah, come out to the Deal Finding Friday, subscribe to his YouTube channel. It's amazing. I love your YouTube channel. I was watching even before we talked, but yeah, go to it on Fridays. And if you're on the lives, you can chat and we'll talk to you. Might even call a lead that you throw in there for us. Why not?
Daniel's asking, what community do you belong to, Nathan?
Privy community. That's right.
It's pretty broad. It's a pretty broad question.
Yeah. So Investor Thrive is my community. That's kind of what I belong to. I kind of created it. It's its own little community. So if you want to kind of know what circles I run in or where I'm at, that's just come and check out investorsthrive.com. We'll integrate you in what we got going on.
Amazing. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for being here, dude. I really appreciate you taking time. I know you were flying all day and you just got back into town and you got 1,000 things you got to be doing right now. But I know we all appreciate you being here and sharing your strategy with us. And thank you for gifting the template for the planning template and the goal setting template. I know that's going to make a huge difference. And a lot of people here were really just loving it. So
yeah, Benson, how would you like to share that? Do you want to just put it in your materials or?
I dropped it here a couple times in the chat.
Okay.
I used the link that was right off your page there.
That's fine. Yeah. Use that. Perfect. And then maybe you can also put it inside of your materials if you want.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
I love it.
Does anyone have any other questions before I roll out? I know it's getting late, so I appreciate everyone hopping on, but anybody have any other questions? All right. Looks like we answered everything, brother.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks again. And thank you everybody for being here. Really appreciate you guys taking the time. Perfecting your craft, doing things above and beyond, putting yourself in uncomfortable conversations and uncomfortable situations. And this goal setting is going to be a game changer for you. So, take the time to go back where we're recording this. So we're going to put this up so you guys can go back and watch this again if you want to see if there's anything that you missed, but you got the template there. So take that and make the best of it. Don't just download it. Don't go print it and then put it in a notebook and then never open it. Like, you got to use it.
100%.
Awesome.
You got to use it.
All right, everybody. Well, everybody have a great night. Thank you so much. Nate, thanks so much for your time, buddy. I appreciate it. And everybody have a great night.
I appreciate having me on. Thank you, Benson.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.